Oh,
It's so much cheese and pizza.
cheese
As if they're not
cheese and
related.
pizza.
Oh. I'm definitely gonna have to stop and shit again.
Do you
want
wanna-
to stream?
Do you want to wash it down with some National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation flavored
Juice? Chocolate. Ugh.
It's chocolate.
That is like the worst thing to eat when you're like ready to poop. All right. Uh-oh.
That's right, viewers. I have the official National Lampoon's.
Wait, hold on a second. I need to have the tunes on. Everyone can see my music list. So let's fucking... Wait. Not genres. Albums.
Whoa, how did you
Where's
purchase
my...
all these albums?
Yeah. This game has really good music that
Yeah.
it just never plays.
Oh.
There's like 3 songs that you hear in the game, and then like all the other songs are just like on radio that you never hear because you can never buy a radio.
Hmm.
Oh,
There it goes.
it's slight. How low?
Perfectly mild.
Bowel lore. Oh yeah, it's the fucking. There it is.
Got you one of them.
Huh? Oh, you're giving me a kiss?
Yeah.
Mwah.
I'm giving you about fucking like 30 pieces
Oh my god, you can't do that on stream. We'll get ourselves shut down for sexuality.
for homosexuality.
For homosexuality, even.
Specifically.
Yeah, alright. Y'all ready for Slide Seppi 2? You gotta open up the chat on your phone. Also send it out to
I did.
Martin.
Let's see.
How do I start it? Oh, here you go.
How
The
does it-
Slide Seppi Part 2.
Hold on. Don't forget, I'm a moderator for this channel.
Don't forget it, dude.
I can do 4
If
things.
YouTube didn't remind you, you would have had like all Alzheimer's.
I can do 4 things about it. Alright.
Wait, look on the top, see if we're like good.
Yep.
Yeah. It slid in really
A
down.
little slide.
Okay, the Espresso Supremo edition. The timeline thus far. I put DS and Game Boy Advance. I merged them into one unit there because I usually do that anyways in like my brain.
Right.
Because they're such like the same game and with like the same cast and everything that I just kind
But the DS definitely comes first.
Yes, that's why I put the DS tag on it.
Yeah.
It's like when you get like a new pair of panties and you gotta take the tag off. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we are all the way over here, and you can tell that we're here because of the progression of age for the newspaper child, which I didn't even think to keep track of, by the way. But now
Is that a... Hold on.
it's the same individual.
Is that a front view or is that a transition?
Huh?
Like,
No,
what's the...
I think the newspaper child was a male in the originals, and if it was a transition, then good for them.
Was like a double transition? Like a front, like a flip, and then a
Well, they
reverse?
transitioned colors,
That's true.
so
That's what I was talking about.
So it started out female, became yellow, and then became male in
Okay.
this game. Or they, them. We don't know Polly's
Right.
pronouns. But
Or fluid.
good. Could be. We're able to tell Tim to contemplating the timeline by many factors. But the easiest to visualize is the age of Polly Monty. I don't love it though, but the newspaper delivery boy. He is now a full-grown adult, whereas he was a child in his past experiences. I saw the video you took. I always say he in this, so he's not gender fluid. To me. The Larkins family tree. What are you laughing at here?
Nothing. Just
The beach?
the concept of you refusing to acknowledge.
Yeah, he's a male here, so I created him, so
I created him, so I determined his gender.
yeah. All natural-born Larkins family members have some sort of connection with the plum bob, an entity that can exert will over those it chooses. So far, Hayseed Larkins dead. He left Kumquat money in his will, who also died. And Dorian died in a big explosion in the fucking asteroid. The plum bob asteroid, he blew it up. Which is crazy shit, by the way. I love that's how Dorian went out.
Yeah.
Litchi is still around. She's with the Streeties gang.
Yeah.
alongside Ah Bang, who was captured by aliens, but then the aliens were also in cahoots with the Streeties. As you can see here, the leader of the aliens is Popoya's father and impregnated a man. To really woke these games for Popoya Larkins to be born. And then Burple, I did a slanted line here because Burple isn't Zizzle's son. Burple is his nephew.
Yeah.
So these two are cousins.
Right.
And these guys are the second cousins to Burple. And Mom Larkins fucked the beach to produce Bang Larkins, who is a beach elemental.
Right.
And Harley King is dead, also. And Humphrey Hawks, I think, is still around, but we'll get to what happens with him. Here's a brief description of the Streeties gang. We got the leader, Darius Money. The VIPs, which is the people that Darius is trying to get together, even, is the Larkins. He's trying to bring together all the Larkins for some unknown reason. The admins, who are the people he trusts the most with everything, Tidy Hog and his brother Dusty Hog. And just few of the scattered members that we met throughout the games. We got the members of Lichy's. Where are we at? Oh, we got. Got Genghis Lincoln, the dude who would paint revolutionary paintings on everything. He was a graffiti artist.
Right.
And these two were members of the Streeties in Herb's GBA. And Chris is like really good friends with Popoya. And Ewan Badami is like really good friends with Dusty.
Dusty Herb.
We got the affiliates, the Black Eyed Peas. I couldn't find an actual image of Polo to use, so I just used his Sims portrait.
That is the most absurd thing, by the way. He is the founding member of the Black Eyed Peas.
He exists more as a Sim than he does in real life, which is kind of sad. We got the Southside Bridge Mafia, who is led by Louis Bricks, who is Sharky's dad and Lichy's like adoptive father at this point, because like it's like, I approve of you fucking my daughter, actually, so you're like my daughter now. And Zizzle's army, so Emperor Zizzle, the alien drones, and Burple, as we went over. I forgot to put Burple on the chart. Why did I put Burple on the chart?
Because
he's part of the chart. Dude, I gotta start the whole fucking stream over.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh no, I see him. He was invisible.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Jacob added Burple into that one. So yeah, I made a shitty little fucking MS Paint map of SimCity to keep track of everything. Pleasant View is the neighborhood from Sims 1, Bustin' Out, and Sims 2 console.
They appreciate the 15-degree tilt.
Yeah, it just sort of did that, and I just left it. None of the other text did that. So this is presumably the largest neighborhood in SimCity, and the only one we've visited multiple times, if you count DS and GBA as the same game, which I kind of do. The other neighborhoods star in the other games covered and mostly get no mention in Sims 2 console, aside from Strangetown, which is referenced a few times. Sim Valley is the place from Bustin' Out GBA. Herbsville is from the Herbs. And Minneapolis is from the Herbs GBA. Strangetown is from the Strangetown Zaga GBA and DS. A Melbourne neighborhood is mentioned in the description of one of the free play lots, though it's unknown what it looks like. So that's some extra love for you. Got Popoya. We're back to the fucking character profiles.
There we go.
Popoya Larkins, the Trash Master. Half human, half alien hybrid, birth from a male impregnation by an alien emperor. Calls traits Zizzles, presumably after her alien father. Has a collection of odd mannerisms and speech patterns. Was last seen imprisoned for public urination in Minneapolis. Grows easily attached to inanimate objects. That's one of like her main things.
Yeah.
With Sakula, the sock puppet, and Streaky and Leaky, the duo of cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
Popoya's appearance in this game, despite having been last seen in jail, is due to the large amount of time between Herb's GBA and Sims 2 console. About 4 games have gone by since then, and public urination is not that intense of a charge that she would be in there for a long amount of time. Like, isn't this song kind of like a...
Yeah, it's like an Animal Crossing type of...
This is like, and you never would hear this in game. It's like on the random radios and shit.
Yeah.
We got fucking our boy Sheriff Dandy Man. I'm of the opinion that Dandy Man simply wanted an excuse to interrogate her about the motherboard and her father's alien technology, and likely just released her after he got the info he wanted. Regardless, Popoya was picked up by the Streeties after being released from jail and has presumably been with them up until the events of Sims 2 console.
Okay.
We got our boy Burple Pratley.
Burple Pratley.
Sliming everyone in town. Popoya's weird asshole of a cousin that has been a spanner in the works for the Streeties for a decade now.
Hold
We gotta get the pant
Pull
leg
your
up.
right pant leg up.
Place your...
Not above the knee. Not above the knee.
Oh, yeah, you're
not
right.
above the knee.
You're right.
Okay?
It's not.
Okay? You got it?
Look at my fucking
You figured it out this time?
Dude, lick the knee.
Did you
You'll be able to tell it's
Okay.
only denim.
Hold on.
All right. You're good.
Where was I at? Oh, yeah. He
Raw
was once
denim.
disguised as a janitor named J.J. Bradley with a fucking Jimmy Neutron retractable, malleable neck. Most of his body fluids are explicitly radioactive, but he could not care less. He has a penchant for using the toilet and trying to bone other Sims, which makes this past point even worse. So even his jizz is probably radioactive.
Oh, yeah.
He's got one pant leg up.
Yeah. Oh, God.
These characters in this game have so little going for them that I just remember in when I was talking about Sims 2 GBA and DS, I would like dedicate a whole page to each character. And this one, if they're not like really important, I'm just like slapping them all on one page.
Yeah.
We got Felicity Usher, who kind of looks like Paramore, neat freak and self-proclaimed nice girl, one of those people.
Yeah.
Object of Burple's affection, though ultimately nothing happens between them.
She's also very, like, wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Everything.
She was always like, I'm ready to fuck. I'm not ready to fuck, dude.
I'm hungry, yeah.
I'm not hungry.
You have to shit? Oh my god, hurry
We
up.
got Aussie Madison. I only put my pant leg down because it's hard to do that with jeans.
You're not
a real one.
You're not real.
You're not a real one.
You're not real.
Bro.
You're not real. You're not real.
Regarded as a long-lost fifth black-eyed pea, Aussie Madison.
Well, sixth black-eyed pea,
Well, Polo's not a black-eyed pea. He's just the manager.
I guess.
Slobby dude and generally unlikable.
Yeah, he was like the rejected black-eyed pea.
Yeah. No one wanted him.
He
was a rotten pea.
Yeah.
Timmy Tool. Desperate for any kind of... His real name, Thames, by the way. Desperate for any kind of attention, be it sexual or familiar. We gotta fucking sexualize him. He has a way of contorting his face creepily, like, all the time. Even in his official art, his face looks, like, weird.
Yeah.
It looks like asshole.
He's also very much a tool.
He is a tool. Yeah. Got Torin Namaste, a man with a personality as rigid and uncomfortable as his square shoulders.
Yeah, Jesus.
This artwork does not do his shoulders justice. They were, like, trapezoidal. Like, upwards.
Yeah.
Always crying at every little thing for no reason. Like, he was always like, oh, no. No longer the foosball champion.
He has, like, Slim Jim arms.
Theory number 1. Why is the espresso supremo?
Okay.
The espresso supremo is the fourth and most recent iteration of the machine. An infamous... typo. Fuck.
Oh my god, you have to
An infamous fixture in all the console Sims entries thus far. It looks still mostly similar to the older iterations in shape, with a new red color and interesting name.
Wait, where was the typo?
And
No TM.
infamous instead of N. Infamous. Supremo. Sims make surprisingly good adventure modes. Yeah. I am surprised.
Honestly, the and still works structurally.
Thanks for the defend there, brother. I appreciate it. Supremo is Italian for supreme. Italian. Now that I think about it, Frankie Fusilli, one of our favorite Italians, ran a chop shop in Street. Here, get closer to the mic, you little clod muncher.
Closer to the Jonathan.
Yes. Did the music stop?
It just ended the one track. It's about to start. There it goes. It's going.
Oh.
It's like a Donkey
Oh.
Kong distant in the jungle.
Oh. Okay. He ran a shop in Strangetown alongside Optimum Alfred, a sentient robot made by the same creator as the machine, Sheriff Dandyman. Seems like the parts from that chop shop were then used to create more The Machines, now with a fittingly Frankified name.
Yeah.
It's good to see that it continues to live on in some form or another, even if we still don't know its true purpose.
No, even if we still don't know its true purpose.
No! Pheromone Biscuit, Zen Mistress. A gymnasium and yoga technique tycoon that promotes tenets of sadistic harmony, whatever that means. Appears to have a plumb bob embedded in her forehead. Yeah. You can read Donnie's thing in Frankie's voice.
Donnie Trentwell, or as I call him, Donnie Splintershins, a reformed mafioso. Once known as Donnie Splintershins, when working alongside Frankie Fusilli, that's me, and his mafia, is now but a humble butler. Does not have a voice, and is
I
instead
speak for him.
narrated by me. Okay?
That was one of the funniest moments when Donnie was like reformed and then he looked in the newspaper. It's like, here's a listing for crime in the newspaper. Do you want to join? He was like, yeah. I got him right back in.
Oh god.
The Monty family, owners of the Cliffside Retreat bed and breakfast with a mysterious past. Isabella Monty wants everyone to get along and eat good food like a typical Italian meta. Rocky relationship with her financier / husband. Trizio Monty, sleazy old man. He got barfed on and he enjoyed it. Unknown connections to Donnie and the mafia syndicate he came from. Paulie Monty has been a paperboy in Pleasant View since he was a child. Seems to be low contact with his parents. Theory number 2, Cliffside Retreat's mafia connections. Don Treadwell, while now Cliffside Retreat's butler, has an extensive criminal history as Donnie Splintershins and is referenced numerous times by mob boss Frankie Fusilli in Sims 2 GBA. It's clear that Frankie has a vendetta against him for an unknown reason.
Well, Dorian A+, if you see Donnie Splintershins, you can tell him Frankie Fusilli is calling in a favor.
Glad you could make it, Donnie. My little fishes have missed you so much. Come a little closer, and I'll throw you in
I'll throw you in with the big Fruit Loop I eat every morning. Did I ever express that thing of like, I'm going to add that as a mini theory here. My theory is that Frankie Fusilli fucking eats a giant Fruit Loop every morning. One ginormous Fruit Loop. I found like an image of like a big Fruit Loop and I sent that to him and we were just riffing about it, like being like, don't let anybody see me eat the giant Fruit Loop for breakfast. That's why he wants the cameras out of there.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone see me eat my big Fruit Loop.
Don't
for
let
breakfast.
me see it either.
Don't let me see it. I keep my eyes
see.
closed when I'm eating my Fruit Loop.
Fruit Loop.
Because he spells it with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
U with the umlaut.
Yeah.
The Fruit Loop.
Fruit Loop.
Towards the end of Popoya and Burple's stay at the retreat, Donnie appears to have been sucked back into a life of crime thanks to a listing in the newspaper. It's possible that this is Frankie's listing. Whether he wants to make amends or lure him in to murder him is left up to interpretation.
Yeah, it sure is.
The question remains. You can read the question.
How exactly did Donnie earn my ire in the first place? I mean, Frankie's ire.
fucking
Jump scare.
daddy big bucks jump scare.
Well, we may have a clue in a specific line from Daddy Big Bucks, a rich asshole and former friend of Fusilli's. It seems something happened between the two to cause a rift so large that Daddy B is willing to torture Frankie. Wait, hold on.
Oh, we're hitting escape. Oh, we're doing a
These
side.
songs are so quiet. Wait, I gotta hit loop so that I gotta hit Fruit Loop so that they fucking actually loop.
They come back.
We can do a different soundtrack.
No, I want to keep it on
Different
Sims 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no!
Frankie Fusilli used to be a friend of mine until he crossed me.
Okay.
That's what he said. I believe this incident that caused this rift actually occurred on screen in a previous stream, and it might not be exactly what you expect.
Oh boy.
Take your guess now. What do you think I'm referring to?
Fuck.
And no matter what you say, I will say, we'll see, in an ominous tone, so I can't tell you what it is.
I have no idea.
Your mind's about to be blown, my friend, along with other things.
Um,
Frankie typically had those he thought of as dumb or lesser do the work that was most risky for him. He had hired the burglar Giuseppe Mezzoalto on numerous occasions for odd jobs, for example.
Yeah.
Daddy Big Bucks, being as pompous as he is, likely paid off the mob to keep those that could potentially harm his status in check. With Daddy B's vast wealth, naturally those he would target the most are other rich elites. One such family of wealthy individuals come to mind, the Goth family.
Okay.
In Sims 2 GBA, Daddy B is said to be pals with them, though I find it likely that this is a keep threats close by type of situation, as they no doubt had the power and money to oppose him if given the chance. So in secret, Daddy Big Bucks would get Frankie Fusilli to hire petty thieves to steal valuable items from the Goth Manor. And one seemingly
Oh my
routine day of this
God.
came along with Giuseppe's sister Jessica being hired to carry out a job to steal the Goth's most valuable possession, their ancient hand-woven rug in their Senis room.
Fucking send us room.
While on screen, the theft was successful. Something always stood out to me as odd that was never followed up upon. The paperboy seemed to be in cahoots with Jessica, as he did not react in any way to her appearance and actively allowed the robbery to happen.
Oh, fuck.
Wait, who is that paperboy anyways? That's right, it's Paulie, the son of Patrizio and Isabella Monti, owners of the Cliffside Retreat, where Donnie just so happens to be a butler. So it appears here that Paulie, alongside his parents, was a regular accomplice to crime happening in the neighborhood. So much so that Jessica did not pay him any mind when she went to carry out her theft. On this day, however, this was the wrong move. Paulie relayed the information of what was going on that day to the police immediately, and Jessica was arrested shortly after the theft at Goth Manor. The Monty family then assisted the police in exposing Frankie's ties to the burglary rampant in the area. Oh, this fucking song is like going... Oh, yeah. This is mafia music. Donnie, being a close friend to the Monties, took responsibility for the incident and was as good as dead in Frankie's eyes because of it. The mob boss then skipped town, settling into Strangetown right at the start of Sims 2DS. The Monty family then backed away from their ties to the mob, and Donnie went into hiding. Eventually, they all opened up a bed and breakfast together to put the past behind them. Furious at Frankie's failure that resulted in his hired robberies on the Goth family almost being exposed, Daddy Big Buck swore revenge, eventually making Frankie a laughingstock on the Strangetown TV show. He also cozied up to the Goths more in the coming years, and they never found out his treachery. Paulie is now mostly estranged from his family, perhaps resentful for the life of complicitness he had to live as a child. Back to character profile. Got Noel Howard, a millionaire lurking in the shadows. Described as an extremely rich and creative person, though no one knows where he got his fortune from. Never appears in person, but has a close relationship with quite a few Sims in Pleasant View, most notably the Monty family. Nelson Longfellow, Bonvoy, is a former erotic novelist turned sailor, now the captain of the HMS Amore, a luxury erotic cruise yacht.
It is, yeah.
And he has intense porn extra energy.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think he like got however much money he has from just being an extra in like an enormous
and
number
then,
of
like
photos?
the equivalent of like the Kim Kardashian sex tape? He was like a background actor in that, as if like sex tapes have background actors.
He was a hired extra.
And he got paid for that. Betty Buttercup, did she kill that fox around her neck?
Oh,
probably. An exceedingly eccentric rich lady aspires to marry Nelson just so she can have a scandalous affair.
Yeah.
Speaking of affairs, we have Hector Fromagero,
Yeah.
which is probably my favorite new character in this game. I
Yeah,
like this guy.
Yeah.
Burning up Casanova, you got the right temperature to shelter you from the storm.
Yeah,
Tell you what.
Yeah.
Bisexual romantic who wants to fuck everything with a pulse,
Yeah.
legitimately perished in a kitchen fire, was brought back to life the same day as if it never happened, and his gravestone now rests upon the deck of the HMS Amore, even though he's still alive.
Yeah.
If I ever see anyone's play Sims in the future, it will not be the same.
Yeah.
He will compare thee to a rainy day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wet and dark. You got all these motherfuckers. Red S. Hurt, once a child actor known basically for performing in Sim Hamilton or whatever, searching for his long-lost love, Helga Mandrake, a horror movie actress who died in an unfortunate accident on stage.
Yeah.
Sheila Deadbones was a pirate in her youth, now acts in pirate movies, that is, until she died in the same incident that claimed Helga's life.
Yeah.
Billy Spector, a completely irredeemable psychopath in
Yeah.
both life and death. Western actor that once shot an intern over nothing and knows everyone in in Pleasant View a very neutral
Yeah.
amount.
He is extraordinarily neutral with absolutely everyone.
Yeah, even though like everyone should hate him.
Yeah.
Theory number 3, Tales of the Dead.
I think there might be conflicted because he shot the intern, but like he's also a good actor, so like
Well, he's a good actor.
not that
so-
bad.
Not actually that bad. I thought it would be fun to speculate more about the background of the 3 ghosts in Sunset Valley.
Yeah, well, you thought wrong.
Yeah, well, it's not fun, so.
Skip it.
Skip it.
It's like mashes the keys, screws up the whole thing.
Sheila is noted to have been a pirate in her youth. Given that we had the dramatized tale of Keelhaul and Cards as a big fictional property in this universe, I think it'd be funny if she was an actress that was an actress in plays that told Old Salty's story. Mayhaps she was even the true identity of woman.
Yes, the woman card.
Helga, being a horror movie actress and having a very gothic style of dress, was extremely likely to have been a goth family member when she was alive. Her last name, Mandrake, relates to a type of plant, which the goths are very much associated with as well.
Yeah.
We are actually never told how Billy died, though given the presence of a gun in Sunset Valley and the fact that absolutely no one liked this dude, I think it's pretty likely that everyone collectively decided to off the guy and then pretend that they saw nothing.
And then mount the gun.
Yeah, where his ghost roams around to just be like, yeah, fuck you.
They didn't put it there.
Speaking of ghosts, the Grim Reaper, Death's Call, the entity who bridges life and the afterlife and visits a sim on death's door. Fond of music, and even practices the fiddle, had previously saved Bang's life back in Strangetown, where he had a more Western-styled appearance up there.
Yeah.
In this game, is able to resurrect any sim for a shockingly low price of 100 simoleons.
Yeah. So that is the same Grim Reaper.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we got all these motherfuckers from the free play segment. Litchi Larkins, charismatic mogul of Herbsville, now fighting the good fight alongside her harem of asexual lesbians.
Yeah.
Affinity for fire and machines. Bang Larkins, former level-headed hotel owner and superhero who only wants to make everyone chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And is a beach elemental.
Yeah.
Darius Money, leader of a counterculture. He's the leader of a counterculture group called the Streeties. Counterculture. One of the most well-liked and popular Sims in SimCity. Dusty Hog. Look at how many appearances he's had under his belt. The forever nomadic brash biker that we can never quite get rid of. Ride or die with all of the Larkins innocents.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for the final theory? This will take up the majority of the time.
Here we go.
The final and the biggest theory of this entire series so far. The shadow government and Pleasant View's darkest secret. Buckle the fuck up for this one. Read this one out loud.
Incoming call. Congratulations! The shadow government that controls your every thought has made an error in your favor. You receive a check for 50 simoleons.
This fucking line! What in the hell does this line, dropped randomly on our laps in the middle of an innocuous part of the second stream of Sims 2 console, mean for the lore? Let's do some investigation. The shadow government call was made to the Shoreline Trails house and picked up by Farrah Moonbiscuit, who we have established has a gem that is presumably a plum blob embedded in her forehead. Friend of Larkins on my tombstone. The plum bob as an entity is pretty much exclusively defined by its ability to exhibit complete control over an individual, superseding their free will in the process. The shadow government is mentioned as controlling your every thought. So yeah, the answer to what is going on seems relatively straightforward. The shadow government is a group of individuals that has found a way to make their own plum bobs to control other Sims' every thought. Farrah is one such affected Sim. But that then begs the question of how? How on earth did someone manage this? I believe the answer lies in a very notable event, one that marked the end of a previous Larkins story.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Sometime before Sims 2 console was Dorianye Plus's story in Sims 2 GBA. At the end of that game, he quantum leaped to an asteroid bound for Earth and ended up sacrificing himself alongside Popoya's father, Emperor Zizzle, to blow up the asteroid with a warhead. One curious detail about that asteroid was that it was peppered with curious green diamond-cut gemstones, plum bobs.
Yeah, very clearly plum bobs.
So therefore, when that asteroid was destroyed in orbit around Earth, scattered shards of those plum bobs must have made their way down to the surface and were then discovered and further utilized by the shadow government for their experiments. Notably, the player's plum bob is able to wrestle control away from the shadow government's grasp, implying that the one that we wield is of much greater potency. The plumb bob embedded within Farah is red as well, which usually denotes an unhappy or malnourished sim. Typically, the plumb bob is only able to gain control over a sim if they are part of the Larkins family, or if a Larkin has established a close enough relationship with another sim. This is blown out of the window in Sims 2 console, where almost every single sim in the game post-Shoreline Trails is able to instantly be controlled by the player's plumb bob upon moving.
Yeah.
The player plumb bob must be able to interact with those who are under control of the Shadow Government's plumb bobs due to their shared origin. Perhaps it is within the player's plumb bob's prerogative, that is a fucking crazy sentence, to take control back from them, as it feels some sort of duty to. So it seems Pleasant View citizens, for the most part, are being controlled completely by the Shadow Government, with the only possible resistance being Popoya and Burple. This explains why they so freely gave out what could be construed as very confidential information over the public phone lines they've already won. So, like, they were just like, hey, we're the Shadow Government that controls your any move. Here's $50, bitch. But we aren't necessarily done yet with this theory. There are numerous other oddities to the citizens of Pleasant View that need to be addressed. Several of the Sims in Pleasant View were able to contort their bodies in impossible ways. Timmy Tool had an incredibly malleable face, and the actors of Sunset Valley were able to stuff their bodies into robot costumes that were impossibly small to, like, fit into, given their initial size. Like, these robot costumes are, like, would be, like, constricting all of their skin and bones down.
And their neck.
Almost every non-Larkin sim in the game behaves in ways that contradict their bios and backstory. This is a lot of stuff that I dug up. Despite apparently having been married for years, Isabella and Patrizio Monti have barely any relationship with each other. Ossie is described in his bio as a slob, but his personality values in the game lean much more towards neat. Even more than Felicity, who is apparently the cleaning freak out of the two, but her, like, cleaning stat is lower.
Yeah.
Red and Helga are described as long-lost lovers, and the former is said to be obsessively looking for her his whole life, though he barely even reacts when the latter comes back to life right before his eyes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Helga, she appears live and well at the HMS Amor less than an hour before appearing as a ghost at Sunset Canyon, though the bios imply that her death was years ago.
Yeah.
Billy Spector ludicrously appears in almost every NPC sim in the game's relationship chart with a completely neutral score of 0. Despite being described as an asshole and having thick skin, Torin is literally constantly cowering in fear of Popoya and often cries to himself within view of everyone else in the house. Coming back to life in this game is so incredibly easy that it feels off, almost as if the Grim Reaper thinks of these sims differently than the norm. Just one of these oddities would be a coincidence, but these are starting to pile up big time. It's almost as if the Sims we see in game are not the same as the Sims written about in the biography sections. It's almost as if every single Sim in Pleasant View has been replaced. Not just the ones with plumb bobs embedded within them, all of the townsfolk. Every one of the characters we met in Sims 2 console are merely look-alike beings, a type of Sim I will henceforth call a clay Sim. Buckle up for this shit. Elemental golem-like entities are not a new thing to the Sims series. The PC releases have plant Sims, which are human-like plants that have different needs and appearances to a regular Sim. And who could forget our very own a beach elemental. Golems in most folklore are made out of clay and will obey orders given to them by their creators. The clay Sims are similar. Their easily malleable, shapeable bodies are made to look like existing people and will do general autonomous actions on repeat to simulate a daily life. Plumb bobs can then be embedded within them to control them more manually. The gems are most likely a rare resource, however, explaining why not everyone in Pleasant View has a plumb bob. They only just got plumb bobs from the asteroid that Dorienye Plus blew up. So while a given Sim's bio will describe their past, you are actually reading the bio of the Sim that the clay Sim you are interacting with has replaced. The clay Sims are so easy to resurrect because they're barely people at all. So there you have it. Pleasant View's entire population has been compromised, all thanks to the work of the Shadow Government. but just who are they and what is their end goal here?
So is Donnie a clay sim or
Donnie now, the Donnie in the past was real, but then he was replaced in Pleasant View by a lookalike that kind of acts and that looks and kind of acts like him, and then that could also be an explanation for the crime thing, that he was just like, oh yeah, crime, whatever.
Yeah,
because he's just
that's part of my description.
My descripy. To me, the shadow government's goals are relatively clear. They're trying to play God. Much like a player starting a free play save of The Sims, the SG, as I will henceforth refer to them as, wants to have an entire town of their own to play around with as they see fit. In this case, they appear to have succeeded, as Pleasant View is entirely within their control. It is reasonable to assume that most of the wealthy, vaguely influential, shady people throughout this series thus far are members of this shadow government. The most obvious member of the SG is 100% Daddy Big Bucks, as he has tried to pull this stunt in various ways twice now in both Minneapolis and Strangetown. Are we Clay at this point?
No.
Shit. Remember the mysterious Noel Howard? I'd wager he has a hand in the SG as well, given his massive wealth of unknown origin and relationships with multiple clay sims. Malcolm Landgrab, Louis Brix, and Frankie Fusilli, I believe, were once members of the shadow government, but were forced out. Frankie for crossing the Goths and Daddy Big Bucks, Louis for forsaking Cash Money and helping the Streeties, and Malcolm for some unknown reason, but that explains Malcolm's descent into madness in Bustin' Out compared to The Sims 1, because he had just gotten kicked out of the shadow government. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm gonna steal everyone's stuff.
Do you remember what I said when you put your gene down?
What?
I said you're not real.
The real me would have kept his gene up.
The non-clay you.
Fuck. Harlan King may have had enough wealth and goodwill to oppose the shadow government, which is why I believe Daddy B had him killed off prior to the events of Herb's GBA. There is one important position in the shadow government that I have yet to cover, however. Are you ready for this? This is the biggest part of this theory. That of the door ringer. When the SG wants someone erased, the door ringer is sent their way. The ringer is incessant, coming to the door of your house every single day on repeat. The instant one answers that doorbell, they will be beset with horrible nightmares that will eventually drive them to their death. Humphrey Hawks has been the main door ringer that we've seen up until this point, though in the past, Mom Larkins herself was the door ringer, and even had a relationship with Humphrey that resulted in 2 children, Dorianye and Litchi. Humphrey later had another son with another woman named Humphrey Jr., who has taken over duties as the new door ringer. Note the signature sunglasses shared between the 3. This is where things take an even darker turn. Kumquat Larkins, the first of many children in the family that we played as, died after answering the door when his mother rang the bell, when Mom was, at that point, an official door ringer. Mom Larkins was sent by the shadow government to assassinate her own child, and she succeeded.
Oh, fuck.
It seems that the shadow government's plan for total control has one major flaw: the player's plumb bob, innate to the Larkins lineage. Every single living Larkin has been targeted. Yes, even Mom Larkins, herself a door ringer. After carrying out the hit on her own son, Mom was superseded as the door ringer by Humphrey, and she was completely erased, being replaced by a clay sim. This explains why Mom in Bustin' Out barely looks like the one in Sims 1, why she acts so differently, and crucially why she can't be controlled by the plumb bob anymore. At this point, the original Mom Larkins has been killed.
Shit.
The shadow government seemed to want history to repeat, as Humphrey was ordered to do the same to his son, Dorianye. To make sure that he would eventually answer the ringer's bell, the Goth family specifically made sure that Dorianye could never truly fulfill their wants in the manor, to try and stall him out so that he'd eventually give in. While Dorianye was able to avoid the door ringer and leave Pleasant View entirely, he was roped back into the grasp of the SG by Daddy Big Buck's reality TV offer, and before long, Dorianye wound up dead, conveniently blowing up an asteroid with plumb bob crystals that would fit right into the SG's plot. Now knowing all this, it appears that Popoya and Burple's main mission in their travels through Pleasant View was to do what they could to liberate the clay sims from their controllers bit by bit with the use of their plumb bobs. The Streeties were possibly unaware of this plan, as evidenced by Litchi constantly calling Popoya on the phone and telling her to pack her bags and get out of Pleasantview. When their calls fell on deaf ears, the 4 Streeties we see in Free Play set out to intercept Popoya and Burple in person, laying low in Kumquat's now abandoned house, which is in Pleasantview. Eventually, Popoya's job led to her becoming the understudy of a certain anti-establishment artist who then made sure she safely was taken out of Pleasantview. Burple, however, was not so lucky. Cornered in the abandoned movie set lot of Sunset Valley by controlled clay sims, he was forced into a freakish Yeti suit that he could not take off and taken into custody by the SG. I can't take it off. Burple was then interrogated harshly for the locations of the remaining Larkins family members. He wouldn't rat them out and was eventually tortured to death.
Oh shit, that's a pant leg down.
That's a pant leg down. Everyone put your pant legs down in the chat.
In memoriam.
Through intensive surveillance, they were able to locate the 4 Streeties hiding out in the abandoned Kumquat house and moved to intercept them. Darius was captured by a rogue car pretending to be his carpool for work, and his status is now unknown. Humphrey Jr. was then sent in to carry out the hit on the remaining 3 members, but was unsuccessful. Litchi, Bang, and Dusty were able to escape.
I forgot about Darius getting kidnapped
Yeah.
by the fake carpool.
Yeah.
That was absurd. Oh my god.
No doubt the shadow government plans to extend its reach beyond Pleasantview and eventually have the whole world under their thumb. With only 3 Larkins left to carry the torch, many of their closest allies killed, and the leader of the Streeties missing, drastic measures will need to be taken to ensure the safety of Simkind.
Litchi, Abang, and Popoya.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
shit.
it for the
Okay.
slide, Seppi.
Oh,
How'd you like that fucking shadow government theory? I felt it tied most things together.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of fits really, really well. Like, Jesus Christ, Mom was fucking... Mom actually was doing a hit on Kumquat.
Oh, man.
And Doriana was trying... Well, the door ringer was trying to do the same to him, but he couldn't do it. And the Goths were purposefully trying to not let him move on to the next house. They were like, well, you're not going to do any of these goals. Fuck you. How about that? Oh, yeah. All right. And all because of that one fucking line. They just dropped right into our pants. Like, hey, there's a shadow government. Bye-bye.
Jesus Christ.
Any comments on everything that has happened? You're a genius. Thank you, Luna Rider.
I think Dorianye Plus had some idea of what he was doing with the plumb bob explosion. Maybe he didn't realize the shadow government would do everything they did, but I think he has transcended in some way that we haven't
Maybe
seen
he
yet.
thought that the explosion of plumb bobs would like be able to liberate the people from the control on their own.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be really interesting, like a villain that is trying to do what we're doing.
Mhm.
Like they're trying to set up their own free play
Yeah.
and be God.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. No plot holes. Oh, there probably is a bunch of plot holes. I
No,
just don't
there's-
put them in the slide
there
Seppi
are
because
plot
I am the master of this universe. I am the shadow government. Bitch. All right.
Is that slide number 40? It's a picture of you next to the shadow government. You're the ring.
We are the shadow government all along.
Rip Burple.
I didn't include anything about the Void because it's so obviously connected to the shadow government, but I want to wait until after Sims 2 PSP to see if there's anything more about the Void we learn out. And then I will give my big what is the Void theory.
Let's have one moment of loudness for Burple as he would have voted. Damn.
Yeah, he got tortured to death.
God damn.
They probably like just kept poking his nipples until they just went right through his body.
He was immune to. Was he immune to water, like altogether, or just rain?
He was not immune to super soaker water.
Okay.
It had to have microplastics in it.
They like got a super soaker. Like,
do you think that the Yeti suit is made out of microplastics? And that was just torture.
What if the Yeti suit has like little tiny, like, you know those clown flowers that squirt the water?
Yeah,
What if
and they're
filled
like
with
on the inside.
Water? Yeah. So every time he moves, he's
Ow.
like slightly hurt by
Ooh,
it.
owie.
It's like chafing him, basically.
I also like to imagine that this Yeti suit is what Bigfoot's cousin actually looks like.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like it's like actually modeled after him.
Not just him, but like whitened.
Yeah. Because we never did see him. Maybe this is actually what he looked like. But yeah, this is how long the fucking shadow government's theory was out of all of it. It was over a third. All right. Now, I'm going to end this stream, and we're going to move on to...
Wait. Where's Dusty Haug? Is he still traveling with the Streeties?
Yeah, Lichia, Abeng, and Dusty were with us.
Okay,
here.
okay. So he's an honorary Larkins at this point.
I think he's probably the leader of the Streeties at this point.
Okay.
Now that Darius is gone, it's
Oh,
either
yeah.
him or Tidy. Touch Tidy hard.
It's probably Dusty, not Tidy.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to end the stream. We're going to move right into Sims 2 PSP, which is the finale of the original series. So this is the last one out of this series, and then we're taking a break before we do the fucking Pets games.
Yeah. How many streams do you think we'll do of PSP?
I don't know. I don't know how long or good it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good.
Natural. Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
That's what you thought. So
that's what she said.
that's what she said.